the project if that risk does happen. So for example, 1 doesn't have a big impact, 5 has a massive impact, and all the way along the scale there. This scoring system will highlight the most dangerous risks for you, and for these you'll need to come up with a workable strategy to deal with the risk if it should happen, or to mitigate it or lessen the chances of it actually happening. But in its simplest form, you could just make a list of all the possible risks and then come up with a strategy for each one. So a few examples might be that the risk might be the system design is too complicated to use, so that equals a low user adoption. So our strategy would be to make sure that we keep the design simple, make sure the users are consulted. We might have another risk where the users don't fill in records properly, so we end up with bad and inconsistent data. So our strategy to deal with that would be to make certain fields mandatory, maybe create a data entry manual for users as well. We might have a risk that says that users are not motivated to use the system, so again, low user adoption. Our strategy, make sure we sell the benefits prior to go live, make sure that we create incentives for people to use the system. I should stress that these are just examples that I've just thought of. You'll need to spend some time brainstorming with your project team what are the possible risks, and then for each one identify a strategy to deal with that risk. Step 11. Create a user adoption strategy. Now this step really follows on from step 10, which was assessing the risks, because one of the major risks in any CRM project is the risk of low user adoption. 47% of CRM vendors, that's people like us at Preact, recognize user adoption as the biggest obstacle to project success. And customers recognize that user adoption as the #1 cause of CRM project pain. Now there are several theories as to why this is, and here's what I think is the main reason, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the project being mostly about people rather than technology. Because a lot of companies fail to recognize the people side of the project. They fail to engage with people at all the different stages of the project. The key to increase user adoption is to involve as many users as possible throughout the project, from the very early stages, where you can consult people and ask them what would they want from a system if it's going to create efficiencies and benefits to them, right through to consulting them through your user testing prior to go live, so that each and every process is tested by the person who knows the most about it. The key is getting the balance right, because you don't want a CRM designed by a committee where it just is over-engineered completely, but you do need to consult users as well. So, simply put, people have a fear of change, and if you involve them from the start, you tend to remove some of that fear. And having the board level support for CRM is also critical for your user adoption strategies. Make sure that the directors are on board and excited about CRM. You don't want your users to think of the CRM system as optional. So carrots are always better than sticks, but sometimes the stick is necessary. For example, your KPIs are now going to be measured from within the CRM system. In other words, if it's not in CRM, it hasn't happened. Other things you can do are to create super users who become the go-to person in each department for anything CRM. And make sure when you're investing in training, give the users more than one just generic training session. Where possible, training should be role specific. Make a documented plan from this session about how you intend to maximize user adoption of your new CRM system, and assign someone the responsibility for user adoption.
So there you have it, 11 steps to prepare for a new CRM implementation. I admit it's a fair amount of work, but having